So, can you tell me a bit about yourself and your business?
Okay, hi. So my name is Ritika. I live in Gurgaon and I'm 38. I run a company called EasyBake. My brand's name is called EasyBake, and we're a bakery manufacturing company. We started off as a Horeca supply company that used to manufacture for other brands. But in the last 2 years, we've launched our own brand and it caters to tier two, tier three markets of India.
So, well, starting your own business would require a lot of funds, right? So, how did you get that initial startup cost covered, like, getting the baking supplies, getting everything?
So, so I've had tech background my whole life, and setting up a manufacturing unit, yes, involves a lot of costs. But I actually started off with a very small setup. So here's what I did. I bought a small kitchen which would literally start and finish, and I bought one small oven and a few baking equipments, very few. So my initial startup cost must have been about 2.5 lakhs, which I paid from my own savings. And instead, so bakery, because the shelf life is I think 1 day only, and products you can't make and keep products, right? So while I was signing the lease for the kitchen, I went out to a couple of coffee chains and I told them that, I'm going to supply, your bakery products to you. And because a lot of chains now in India, actually all over the world, they outsource their bakery, they outsource their food. So I went out, got a few contracts, and then we started manufacturing. So did I actually worked in reverse. So by the end of the first month, we were actually making money, and by the third month, I had already recovered the costs that I had sunk in into making the bakery. And then the business kind of self-funded itself. Every profit, everything that I earned from the business went back. I didn't draw any salaries, didn't take any money home. And then slowly, we started expanding, bought more ovens, bought a bigger space, to now, which is a huge setup, and it's all come from the business only.
That's great. That's great. So, well, did you ever apply for a loan? If not, then like, how did not applying to a loan help? Or if yes, then
So there's something called as a MSME loan that the Indian government does give you an option. If you're a startup, they can give you about 10 lakhs. I did actually take up that loan to buy one oven. It was actually nothing. I needed a lot more, but we could manage only one oven with the money that I took as loan. But in hindsight, I realized that the maximum money came in from the business only. And my advice would be to only take up loans if you know your company is making money. Otherwise, it's debt on your head, which is not good, right? Then you're just working to repay debts. So if the business can fund the debt, then it's great. Otherwise, my advice would be to not take up any loan.
well, if someone wants to start their own business from scratch, how do you think they should manage their own financials?
So, mm, my advice to all entrepreneurs in general has always been get an MVP out. Make sure that your product, there is actual demand for your product in the market, whether it's tech, whether it's a physical product, whether it's a D2C brand. Make sure there is actual demand in the market. uh, Take your product to the consumer, get their feedback, make sure there's demand for it, you know and your cash flow should be self-sustaining. Otherwise, don't get into it. Don't go into the rat race of going out raising money or raising debt. If the business is good, money will come in. There's always enough and more money in the world, but your product has to a sell. It has to be something different, and there has to be demand for it. Don't just go out and raise money or start a company for the sake of it. Be very sure that you get early success in the business, and that will only come if your product is great.
So, well, what was the MVP for your products?
So my MVP was, as I said, that I went out and got these clients. Right, I didn't open a storefront because that would mean more sunken cost. Right, I would have had to do a storefront. I would have had to, build a nice looking store because people wouldn't walk in if the bakery store didn't look great. Um, so my MVP was that I went out and got two contracts for with two coffee chains for their bakery supply in the first month. So that's what I also recommend. Get an MVP out. Make sure that there's demand for the product that you're making or plan to make.
So, well, how did you scale up your business and how was the financials affected when you scaled up your business?
So it's never tough. You're always short on money. You don't end up very realistically in your growth phase. You're really not taking anything home. So, because every little money, every little cent that you're making goes back into the business. So, be very sure that when you're starting out, to go through extreme phases like months of extreme poverty also. But that's okay because the thrill of building your business is always there. That's why I say, like, don't go into that rush of getting loans or raising money just for the sake of it. Because eventually you will have to pay back, right? You will be answerable to your investors that, what have you done with that money? How's the business scale?
Yeah. So, if someone does not have a family background or like they don't have an already like self-sustaining job or something, how do you think they can get that initial jump of like money if they're not even getting a loan?
So, okay, I've met enough women who are running millet based product factories now, and they literally started from home. They use their own kitchen to start making money, and now I feel a lot of brands and consumers both are very tolerant and very accepting of people who are starting from scratch. So that inclusivity has come. um, like even my initial clients gave me that chance even though I was not from the industry. I didn't have any background in food, but they gave me those contracts. But make sure that you are very very sure before starting the business, and you'll have to work long hours. You'll have to give them service. You'll have to listen to a lot of nonsense, also a lot of feedback which might not be very pleasant to hear, but you have to have that temperament. So even if you don't have money, start from home. Start use your kitchen. If you want to start a food business, use your kitchen to start. Or even better, why don't you outsource your production to another kitchen? If you're good at marketing and you're not good at production, get it outsourced from another kitchen. There are enough players in the market who would manufacture for you. So yeah.
So, well, how do you market your products?
Um, Honestly, I was the marketing. I would go out, sit outside clients' offices for hours, make sure, they give us that work. Um, and that's it. I mean, it's just like sheer hard work and going out and meeting enough people initially to get people to trust us to manufacture for them and service. um, and then you have to have like positive feedback from your customers so that one customer recommends you and then you ask them for references. So that's how I built my consumer base.
Well, you also mentioned that one needs to be really sure if they want to start their business. So, what made you so sure about starting your own
Well, I
business?
always joke that if somebody would give me a job, then I would happily take it, but nobody wants to give me a job, so I'm an entrepreneur. Uh, but like jokes apart, I can I can never not see myself building something. I've always believed in building products, building, either generating business for or generating income for other people. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I don't see myself doing anything else.
If there was any advice that you could give to our listeners about starting your own business, what would be your final advice?
I think everybody should become an entrepreneur. I think entrepreneurs are just better human beings. The kind of grind, the way it tests your patience, it builds up your the kind of hard work that you have to put in. Please, my advice would be to start. You'll know what it takes to build something from scratch. um, please go for it. It's a journey of a lifetime. I think you'll never ever want to do anything else except run your own company.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.